Probando, uno, dos, tres, probando inglés. Estoy hablando. No, yo no me quiero ir. Uno, dos y tres, probando inglés. Uno, dos y tres, probando. Uno, dos y tres, probando.
una preguntita. Hola mis reciclamores, ¿cómo están? ¿Dónde está toda la gente linda que nos ve en este momento? Estamos muy emocionados de estar aquí, no se preocupen que no se equivocó de evento, este sí es, y póngale mucho cuidado porque vamos a aprender muchísimas cosas. Me presento, mucho gusto, Marce La Recicladora para los que no me conocen, más conocida como la primera recicladora youtuber. Estoy muy bien acompañada el día de hoy con Sofi. Sofi, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, Marce, ¿y tú? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, con frío pero emocionada.
No un frío, pero bueno, vamos a pasarla muy bien.
Así es, y toda la gente que nos ve va a aprender muchas cosas bacanas, avances. Entonces, primero que todo, pues nada, Sofi, preséntate por favor.
Bueno, mi nombre es Sofía Gómez, tengo 17 años, soy activista climática, estudiante de ciencia política y bueno, soy una joven preocupada por el medio ambiente. Hoy estamos acá para hablar sobre un hito que es para la región y para el país de la economía circular. Entonces, nada, yo creo que vamos a aprender un montón.
¿Cuántos años?
17.
Imagínense,
Ya casi 18, ya casi 18.
Tienen a una persona que todavía es pues menor de edad, pero parece con sus ideas es gigante.
Okay, so today we're going to start talking about the concerns that we have. Like, what are you worried about regarding the environment, the climate change, and all those things? Well, especially like waste as a person, as a young, and as an artist, one of my main concerns is the people don't know how to dispose of the waste. That is very concerning because it makes this climate crisis worse. Sometimes they do that, but it is not willingness. And this brings us to the second point of my concern, that's lack of education and information, which is regarding the separation of waste and climate crisis. This is very serious, and these 2 points stop from having a sustainability culture that aims at facing this crisis, and it also makes it impossible to manage public policy, which I think is my concern. And you cannot aim at a future and facing 2030, which is the no returning point. So those are my main concerns, and especially if we move from our daily habits and we change, that we are a little bit more aware. And sometimes we think, what is it all worth it if there are a lot of people who are not doing this? So Marce, how can we change this chip? So definitely, I think that we need to educate people. That is important. And that's why we're also here, for people to learn and for us to learn too from the things that are happening. I am also concerned about the separation and recycling, and that's why I do what I do as a YouTuber. But I think that when we work for a common objective, we can achieve a lot of things and we can achieve big things. And so I'm going to invite you to watch this video.
Ese es el fin.
This is the
El
end.
fin de todo.
The end of
El
everything.
fin de las cosas.
The end of
De
the
esto,
things. Of
esto y
this,
esto.
and this.
Cosas rápidas,
Rapid
desechables
things,
y de fácil descarte.
disposable and easy to
Cosas
dispose
esenciales
of.
de nuestra rutina
Essential
diaria
things from
sin
our
las que
daily
difícilmente
routines
podríamos
without we
vivir.
could hardly live.
En Colombia se
In
dispone un
Colombia,
promedio de
we have about
32.294 toneladas al día de residuos sólidos presentados por los
tons a
usuarios del
day of
servicio
solid
público de
waste
aseo, y
by the
aproximadamente
public
el 40% de los
waste
residuos
picking
generados
service,
están
and
compuestos por
almost
materias con
40% of
potencial de
the waste is
aprovechamiento.
made up of potentially
Muerto,
usable
desechado,
material,
fin.
dead, disposed of, end. Okay. Is it the end or not, Sophie? I think looking at this, it is like hopeless. I think that I feel really proud of being part of this generation, which is like an awakening for a change. About 2 years ago, when I joined this climate change movement, I was 15, and I have seen how more and more young people and children join this movement, and they're concerned about really making a better world, and from the action, which is the most important thing. So yes, I think there is future, and the youth is going to start working, and they're doing that right now, facing the climate crisis and waste separation, and I'm sure we can do something. Right, Sophie, that's why today you are like the honor guest, because you're a young person that is not just thinking about ideas and is imagining an ideal world and is also working on that. You are actually doing something. And talking about people who do things, I'm going to introduce you to a very special person that I met 2 years ago in a very cool event that I was invited to here to the people from Grupo Plastilene. And with you, I'm sure you know him, but just in case, let's introduce him like that. Please scream at home. With you, we have Stefano. Welcome. Welcome. How are you, Stefano? From Boston, is it?
Entonces, el primero es, como ustedes saben, en Colombia entra la ley de REP, la 1407. Nuestro compromiso con la sociedad, con nuestros clientes, es acompañarlos y facilitar a todos nuestros clientes que puedan cumplir con esta ley. Es una ley del Estado y por lo tanto la debemos cumplir. Cuenten con nosotros, vamos a trabajar en esa dirección para hacerlo. Entonces, pues, lo que les queríamos decir es que acá sí estamos trabajando, son palabras, son acciones, creemos y esperamos. Año vamos a mostrar
this year we can show results. Hello, my recycle love. Hi, Marce. Hi, good morning, Sofia. It's a pleasure to have you both here with us. Thank you, Stefano. Thank you. Same way, I would also like to greet all of those who are here with us. I understand that we have over 1,000 people, over 15 countries connected. That brings us to have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Please also be patient if we make a mistake. We're not actors, we're not journalists. We're just doing our best. And also, a piece of note, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Maybe you're not going to see the face masks, but I'm sure I guarantee that we're working on a very controlled environment and we are safe. Thank you, Marce. Of course, I remember about the event 2 years ago. Maybe that was the last event that we ran before the pandemic. And I think that the message in the end, the important message was actions instead of words. And I would like to bring your attention to this. I'm sure you all have seen Greta Thunberg's participation, Youth for Climate, about 2 days ago. I think she sent a very big and clear message and stopped the blah, blah, blah. And I think that our message, just as hers, we need to take action and we need to be effective. And actually today we're here to do that, to do so. 2 years ago we promised, and today we are so excited to be able to tell you and show you that our plant in post-consumption is a reality. It is working. It is operating. It is a plant that is going to produce around 10,000 tons of recycled materials. And as we said, it is going to help our customers abide by RED 1407, all the material that we can certify. So it is really exciting to show with events and facts the commitment that we took 2 years ago. Of course, we've been working hard in many other things. We're going to see that in a few minutes in this presentation. But I am so excited. I am very excited that Marce is here with us today again, and that she can be a witness of the fact that we really complied with our word. We honored our promise. I don't know if you remember that 2 years ago, to present our first report on sustainability today, besides the plant, we're also going to present our third sustainability report. I think it is going to be published for those of you who want to read it. It's going to be on our webpage. So the invitation is for you to see it. Now you have the floor, Marcy. Thank you, Stefano. So beautiful being able to be here and to be with you in this wonderful event, because actually our last encounter was at a hotel in a very cool thing with the people, but now being here and feeling the energy of recycling is even cooler. So thank you very much to all the Plastilene group for all the things they're doing, because finally this is what we need to do, and all the industries that work on production of materials that can be used like this. We need to start wearing that t-shirt to generate these type of changes, like in this wonderful plant that we are here today. And I know that you all would like to be here, but my recycle loves later on we can come and visit us. For now, yes, we're very happy to be here. And for example, see Sophie, have you seen the plastic can turn into this type of pellets? This is exactly what Grupo Plastilene does with this new machine. And it's all the plastics and all the packaging that where we have the rice, the lentils, and everything we eat, and some polypropylene, some PPs. Those of you who follow me know what I'm talking about, and those of you who work in the plastic industry too. So basically, this pellet, see it here, is the little balls, the raw material to generate a new life. So in our hands, we have for us to recycle well, so this can happen, and for Grupo Plastilene to be able to turn this into a significant raw material, all this plastic that we consume every single day. Marce, you know what's the most important thing? That the private sector and the companies are the ones that have a huge responsibility to generate sustainability culture. So the bigger the company, the more scope they have, the greater the responsibility they have to the people and the environment. So what better to see that companies such as Plastilene that are so big making these changes and just promoting this creation of a culture. I think that's the most important thing. Yes, we as the common people need that responsibility, that big responsibility. Do you think that we have like that direct link, the common people with these big companies? Yeah, I think so, some way. But tell me more, Marcia, I'm sure you know. The truth is, I do think it's our responsibility as people is to separate and classify as waste pickers. We're always working, but sometimes common people, they say this is far away from us. It's like we can't find any relationship, like we don't have anything to do there. So I don't know, Stefano, what you think about this? The thing here is very simple. When you change from a linear economy to a circular economy, all the players in the chain need to participate. Before, the product was used and then wasted, and now you have to turn it around in such a way. All the parts of that circularity, all of us need to be part of that process. So the people, just as the companies and the waste pickers, we all need to work together. This is a project that will not bring us anywhere if we're separated. We on our side need to work, or we are proud to say that we're working on the product side as such. This means more sustainable products based on eco-design. We need to use or apply the 4 R's of the sustainability portfolio: reduce, recycle, reuse, and renovate. In all those fronts, we're working right now, and I think it is his responsibility, as Sofia was saying, of the companies to take these actions. Same way, likewise, what makes us feel so proud is to say that as part of that circularity with our post-consumption plan, we have started participating in another front, and that is the final part of using the recycled materials. So on the one hand, we decided to be easily recyclable. We need for the people to help us separate better, classify better, sending us a raw material that is easier to handle. But what we are proud of is to say that we are being part of that chain, and we are that link, and the post-consumption plant is a milestone that is very important to us. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it is a project of all of us, and if we do not all participate, and we're not going to get anywhere. So it is a demanding and hard-working project, but we together will make it. Stefano, I have a question. How can you guarantee that what you do actually closes the loop? I suggest let's look at the other part of the documentary, and after that, I can give you an answer.
Aquí comienza nuestra historia.
So here starts
Porque
our
el
story,
fin de las cosas
because the
es el
end of
comienzo
things
de
is the
nuestra
beginning
misión.
of our mission.
Desde hace más de 30 años,
For
en el
over
Grupo
30
Plastilene
years, in
nos
Grupo
hemos encargado de
Plastilene, we have
cambiar
been
un proceso lineal
responsible
por
for
uno
working a
circular.
linear project into
Por
a
eso
circular
existe
project.
Reciclene,
That's why
la
we
empresa
have
a través de la
Reciclene,
cual
the
transformamos
company through
desechos
which we
plásticos
transform
en materia
plastic
prima,
waste
le
into
damos
raw
valor al material
We
y
give
alargamos
value
su
to that
vida
material,
útil.
and we,
Sabemos que el plástico
make
es
the
valioso para nuestras
life
vidas.
cycle longer. We know plastic is
es
valuable
seguro
for
para
our
la
life.
salud
Plastic
y
is
salva
safe for
vidas.
health
El
and
plástico
saves lives.
protege nuestro
Plastic
producto,
protects
que es
our
nuestra razón de
products,
ser,
which is the
y facilita
reason
su
for being,
transporte
and
y
it
almacenamiento.
facilitates transportation
El
and
plástico
storage.
es
Plastic
resistente,
is resistant,
duradero y
durable,
no agota
and it
la
does
reserva
not
de petróleo.
El plástico
deplete
ahorra
the
agua,
oil
energía y
reserves.
emisiones de
It
dióxido de
saves
carbono,
water,
comparado con otros
energy,
materiales.
and CO2
El problema es
emissions
tratar el
compared
plástico
to
como
other
basura
materials.
y no
The
disponerlo
problem is treating it
adecuadamente
as
para que pueda ser
waste
reciclado
instead
y
of
continuar
using it
aprovechando
correctly so
todos
that
sus
it can be,
beneficios.
used again and used with So Sofia, I don't know if the video kind of summarizes what I said before, and I think that shows it is possible, yes. It is an eco-design here. We're talking about applying the 4 R's and having all these life cycle loop to work, and that guarantees that that loop can be closed. So it is very clear with that documentary, and I think it is also very important to break these myths regarding the plastic, which is so satanized, demonized. I think it is very useful, and from the pandemic, we've been able to see how it can be adapted to these demanding situations and processes. It's like a sanitary crisis. So I think it is important to recognize that the problem is not the material, but the disposal and the treatment that you give to the material, because it's no secret that in the ocean we have islands that are as big as the country of plastic, but it is there because of the wrong disposing practices that users have. So I think it is important to break this dichotomy, right, Marce? Yeah, right. I agree with Sophie. Sometimes we are the ones responsible for things not to end up where they should. Knowing that this little pellet can give work and employment, it can be very useful, but sometimes we're not responsible for the things that we consume and we buy, and that's why I always tell you, love, separate, recycle. Stefano said 4 R's, 7 R's, all the R's, but the most important R's. Scold, give a piece of your mind to those who don't do that correct, because it is always necessary that we're going to give you a piece of our minds with love, but we're going to give you a piece of our minds. I would say, Sophia, that plastic, I don't know a product that is successful when it does not give a function. So plastic is such a big part of our lives. It is not the merit of Plastilene or any other company in the world. It's just this product as such. And I think decisions today, living without plastic, I don't see that as I see this as a utopia. I don't see that as a possible thing. What we do need to do is be responsible and also listen to science. I think that plastic needs to be used where it is the best option. It needs to be used when there is no substitute for it, where we're not the best option, or where there are options that are friendlier to the environment. Of course, we need to be responsible and aware and take that path. But plastic is wherever it is, because it has some specificities and some qualities that cannot be found in other products. So maybe it is the most efficient packaging, weight, benefit, barriers, protection, and therefore it is a merit of the product as such, the fact that it is so well known. So I think that we have to be all very well aligned and be responsible and work with scientific values and not with feelings. I think that in the end, that is the most important part. And I think that if we do all this, plastic has its position in our lives. It's improved our life, the level of our lives. It's helped maintain the food clinically, medically, environmentally. So I think it is here to stay. We need to be responsible as to how we dispose of it, recycle it, reuse it, because it is possible. And I think that in Plastilene's case, we're doing that. It is a work, a big work. It is a significant work, and it is work that we can do just because we have a big group of people. I feel really proud to work with the group of executives, operators that we have at Plastilene. They're all committed. They're all we all clearly understand the problem and working hard. And what you see behind you and what we have achieved is thanks to this big team that we have, which is Grupo Plastilene. That is so cool, cool. Stefano, basically here I would like to clarify something that is important. This plant that in which we are right now, you, Mr. Doctor, you click that button and then you start recycling as crazy, or how does it work? I would like to, but if I had to do that, nothing would work, because I do know that there are people that does it better than I do. And as I said, the team that we have is the one that makes a difference. It is the one that's brought us to where we are, and they have made it possible for Plastilene to be what it is. And I think that to the right of your screen, we saw a few of the people from the group of Plastilene. It's over 1,000 people, and that group is the one that's made possible for Plastilene to be where it is and for these projects to become reality. So actually, the only thing I do is accompany, support, and that is the group, the one that is able to achieve these successes and complete all the projects. Okay. Ricardo, I had to give you the floor, so I see Ricardo on the screen. We can hear you. Ricardo is the one responsible for everything that has to do with sustainability within Grupo Plastilene. Welcome, Ricardo. Thank you, Stefano. Thanks to all the team, all the people you saw on the screen have made it possible to achieve our environmental and social goals together with all the workers of Grupo Plastilene in Colombia, Central America, and soon in the United States, with the same philosophy of responsibility and sustainability. But today, we're here in this conversation with representatives of our stakeholders. Marce is representing our waste pickers that we love deeply and that we worked with to improve their capabilities and for them to have a more dignifying job, for them to do this very hard work the best way possible. And Sophie is here to represent the people and to represent the youth, because what we do in sustainability is to leave a better planet for the future generations, for them to have the resources to continue living the way they have to live, better than we have been able to live. So I would like to ask Sophie, those concerns that you have regarding the environment, what are the most important ones? Well, I think the climate crisis needs to be understood as an intersectional crisis. This is the biggest challenge of the humanity specifically, because the climate crisis comprises all the gender inequalities and makes more severe the social inequalities, and does not allow for constructing peace. And that is my biggest concern, because how can you build a country if you don't have peace and sustainability? So climate crisis that has a point of no return to 2030 according to IPCC. If we don't get solutions and have an actually effective front, we're not going to have a feasible future. So it is important to mention the importance of these initiatives, and also changing the habits and taking action. If you have youth councils or popular consultation spaces, wherever people can talk and implement the environmental things as part of the political agenda, I think that is the most fundamental thing. Colombia is one of the most affected countries by the crisis, the climate crisis. And these are the people that are most affected due to their various characteristics or groups. Those are the people that have been the most impacted by the climate crisis. So as the future politologist and person, this is my biggest concern. And I think that with these initiatives, we can fight this very serious crisis. Sophie, I would like to tell you that we here are also honoring our third sustainable commitment, which is be a carbon neutral company. So in 2020, we got the certification, and there are three key messages that I want to give. The first one is the carbon neutral certification for all our companies. The second one is that once we did the compensation, we decided to go beyond. We decided to regenerate the ecosystem. We decided to compensate more than the emissions that we need to be carbon neutral, and this way we have turned into positive companies that are positive to the climate. And being positive to the climate, according to the carbon neutral protocol, is a step in the regenerative concept that as a comprehensive company we're giving by handling and disposing of the waste, and also by regenerating our atmosphere and the environment. And my third message is that within Reciclene, we are a zero emission company. And we did that technically. We went to the Clean Development Mechanism, which is an international methodology to recover solid waste, in this case plastic. And what Reciclene does when they recover raw material based on waste allows to substitute virgin materials that have a greater carbon footprint. Now, Reciclene, besides being a carbon neutral and a positive climate company, it is also a zero emission company. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Thank you, Sophie. What is your concern, Marce? I have several concerns, but clearly I really watch the Recycle loves guilt for our work, for our job to be more dignified, for us to always have material to collect, because that is our livelihood, and clearly the people to classify it very well at home so that they can facilitate our job. So the main thing would be that among all the concerns, but always material. The material is always our best concern. Separated, well classified economy, several little things, but actually the main thing is that I love that because the social aspect and the connection of Plastilene Group with the community, with the waste-speaking community, is really strong, and it's being tightened by every time the day passes. In this case, the plant is a reality, and it is to the service of the waste speakers. We can enable new routes and a new source for income. You can improve your quality of life, because responsibly we buy those materials at a fair price. And it is 10,000 more tons that we have to buy. and for them to have a better income and for us to work together in this circular economy. So my invitation now is to look at the following video so that we can understand how we're going to have those 10,000 tons to get to this plant.
Por todo esto, en Reciclene creamos un sistema de economía circular con el compromiso de todos los recicladores y otros actores de la cadena. Cerramos el ciclo del material para que no llegue a rellenos sanitarios ni a ecosistemas.
To the ecosystem
Convertimos residuos plásticos en materia prima.
We turn plastic waste in raw material. How does it work?
Primero, los residuos plásticos generados por los usuarios y que son dispuestos adecuadamente en la bolsa plástica y aprovechables son recuperados y seleccionados por nuestros compañeros recicladores.
Segundo, este material llega a nuestra planta de recuperación post-consumo de Reciclene y por medio de un proceso de innovación sostenible lo convertimos en materia prima de altísima calidad.
Tercero, con estas materias primas fabricamos nuevos empaques, por ejemplo, termoencogibles, empaques secundarios y otros productos como
secondary packages and
punchos,
pellets and other things.
Cuarto,
Fourth, our customers have access to products that have recycled material, and that way they promote circular economy. Fifth, consumers, the end consumers prefer to buy products that are packaged in recycled plastics, and after that they dispose of that in the right bin so that they can be collected by the waste pickers. Then the material goes back to our plants through the waste pickers association so it can continue its path in circular economy.
Imagina un mundo
Can you
donde el plástico,
picture
en
a
lugar
world
de
where
terminar
plastic,
aquí
instead of
o
ending
aquí,
up here or here,
pueda reiniciar su
can
ciclo de vida
restart
una y
its
otra
life
vez?
cycle over and
Porque
over
nuestra
again?
historia
Because our
comienza
story
al final.
starts at the end.
Una historia con
A
un fin
story
común.
with a common
Esto
end.
es
That
Reciclene,
is
una empresa del
Reciclene,
Grupo
a
Plastilene.
company of the
Entra
Grupo
a
Plastilene. Visit
www.grupoplastilene.com
us in
y conoce cómo hacemos realidad el discurso de
www.grupoplastilene.com
la economía
and see how we
circular.
make this into a reality. Circular economy. That is so wonderful. It is so clear now with this video, now having seen all the processes, that actually the circular economy of plastic has to be the common end. I don't know what you think, but I think that when you see this type of initiatives, you feel so excited. At least I am so excited to be here and to be here surrounded by you all, and especially to know that we are going to recycle 10,000 tons more of plastic. I think it is very important to say that we all have a participation or a role to play in this process of circular economy. The youth, the parents at homes, I think we need to start by teaching the children how to recycle, classify with games, for this not to be a boring or an academic thing, but a daily thing, because it is. And today we are living the effects of not doing that correctly. So we all have a space to generate an action. We can classify and support our recycle friends and waste pickers. Yeah, it's a huge number of things that are being done in the sector and the ones that we are doing at the companies, both producers of this raw material and the brands that use the products, to have a greater impact on circular economy. We specifically are part of various associations. We are in Ecoplásticos, we're members of ANDI, we are in Sustainable Packaging Coalition, which is an association in the United States, iPlast in Spain with ICPC, and in various scenarios, alliances are the ones that allow for the impact that we create to be multiplied. One bird is not going to change the world, but if we add a grain of salt, we're going to have mountains and mountains of solutions. So today we have Laura to talk about this. Laura is the director, the executive director of CEMPRE. CEMPRE is Compromiso Empresarial por Reciclaje. I want to talk to her about what are the things are being done in circular economy, what the companies are doing. First of all, Lau. Marce. This is Marce and this is Sophie. And we want to talk a little bit. Please tell us about CEMPRE, what it is, Ricardo. and colleagues and friends. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for this gift to the country. Let me tell you a little bit about Compromiso Empresarial por Reciclaje. I'm going to give you my mic so that we can hear you better. Hello? Okay, I was just greeting everybody and thanking Grupo Plastilene for this wonderful gift that they're giving the country and the opportunity that you're giving circular economy to be more empowered and giving more relevance to the plastic as a material. I'm going to tell you all about the Compromiso Empresarial para el Reciclaje. It is a non-profit organization that was created by the companies to increase use of the waste of these materials that are in the market. We've been working on this for 12 years to strengthen the municipal structures for usage. We firmly believe in the possibility to increase collection, usage, and circularity of the materials, together with the waste pickers as the relevant actors. As an organization, we are in very different countries around the world, with a characteristic that is special, and that is that we are in those countries where you have waste pickers. We're in Asia, in Latin America, we get to Uruguay and Brazil. We got there 27 years ago, and in Colombia, 12 years, working with the leadership of the companies, hand in hand with the government, in alliance with the waste pickers and with all the actors of the chain, to guarantee that that material will finally get to plants such as this one. Laura, that is another sample that if you want to do things right, you can do it in CEMPRE. There are several companies that are multinational, local companies that have the same objective, to generate a social impact, support the waste pickers, and support circular economy. Those are the big objectives CEMPRE has. And for us to be able to build, and here I'm going to go to what Sophie was saying a few minutes ago, and that is that we need to build responsible laws to let us understand our role and play it correctly. But Laura, going back to our topic, which is our post-consumption plan, how do you think this project can impact the circular economy of the economy and abiding by the legislation by our customers or Grupo Plastilene customers? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit on how we work in CEMPRE and how these plans contributes to the actions we are promoting. In CEMPRE, we have 3 action lines. The first one is to accompany the companies to promote the exercise, the circular economy exercise, to empower what you've been doing. And to do that, we have 2 actions. The first one is that we start from knowledge, but we don't go into a thought center, but into an action center, where we have companies such as yours and another 13 companies that lead the actions and promote that and send that into the market for that circularity to actually happen. We do that through projects that get directly to the municipalities, to the actors, working directly with organizations, waste picker organizations, with the municipalities, and having an impact on the people from various initiatives that get together on the post-consumption plan of packagings and the back cycle that you not only are the exemplar transformer, because you have brought to the service of the change the country and the project plans such as this one, where you allow through these initiatives that look to increase separation at the source and to get to these places to be transformed, and that way increase the rate by making effective investments in constructing the chain. All the benefits for the waste pickers that today have a new source for income, because these materials that maybe were not collected or they didn't watch them, they didn't see them as a source of income. Today, this plant is waiting for them, and without the need to go to a new source or without the need to do an additional exercise if we as citizens can guarantee that the plastic materials get to that white bag and to the hands of the waste pickers. We have huge opportunity to reincorporate and reuse these products through this plant. Another action is that from this data that you consolidate, you help us consolidate, we can have an incidence in public policy. That is definitely, and Julia, you have there a challenge and an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity, and that is to start working from that role of a person in education, in growth, so that public policy enables circularity, because prohibition is not the best thing. We know that we need to make some changes in consumption, but by prohibiting, we are impacting employments and the possibility for income of the waste pickers that today 40% of their income is based on plastic. So, yes, we're going to be with you in that challenge, and we are at your service. And a third action that we run in CEMPRE is we work with others in communication structures and generation of new knowledge. So, and to that end, we work with universities, colleges, municipalities, agencies, and technical references, and also with Latin America CEMPRE's network to learn what's happening in other countries that we can copy, and to be able to teach and try for this exercise and for this potential of circular economy that we look as an organization with the companies becomes a reality sooner than later, and especially in a more efficient manner regarding costs and results. Everybody in this, all of us in this case, are playing our role, and we have our duties and our rights. Here, Marce has the material with all her friends, with all her colleagues, with big effort and also with great love. That's why she has coined that word of recycle loves. We can be recycle loves from our homes when we classify, and then that material that we get here turns into different products through these pellets. You see, when the material gets here, when it is clean, we can have pellets that are transparent, beautiful, that can be used in multiple applications. Here you can see some of the products. This has a recycled content, this packaging, and this is a product that is very well used. So this is what we can do if we separate correctly. This is what we can achieve if we all play our role, if we promote incorporating recycling in the new packagings. We have other types of qualities. We are oriented to collecting whatever comes from the households, but we need you to help us do it the best way possible. Excellent, excellent. We also like to take the opportunity to say hello to those who are watching us from YouTube. So cool to have you there, making comments and saying. And one of the questions being asked the most is if the Grupo Plastilene collects the little bottle of love. The love bottle is a cool option to put some plastic, especially plastics number 7 and 5, that sometimes commercializing that was hard for the waste picker. But with this love bottle, you know that you create plastic wood. But for example, this cool material is very good to do again other packagings. So it is cool that is the waste picker has the possibility to sell this packaging. Don't put it in the love bottle, but give it directly. Ask the recyclable, honey, do you sell this in the warehouse? If they say yes, great. And if not, then you bring that into the white bag. And if not, then you make the bottle with the packaging, especially is the one that crunches, that is the one that holds the potatoes, and the low density polyethylene where you have rice and lentils. The transparent ones that stretch is better that you put that into the white bag so that things like this can happen. But the key here is ask the recycle love get in touch with them, get to know them, ask them their name, and also all the advice that I give you to dignify the recycle love work. Now to close, I think that maybe we all have some commitments, some rights, and also some duties. And it is our job to have that sense of belonging for our planet and classify at home what you need to classify. When you buy the rice, when you buy that packaging, that soda, whatever, you're also buying the packaging. So be responsible and let things like this happen, that they go back to the cycle and the chain, and we can do wonderful things in this plant. Yeah. To close, regarding communication, it is important to send the right message. It is important that we tell what's being done for us to understand how we can support the development of circular economy. There is a new plan. There are more coming. Several are working on this circular economy. So let's promote recycling of the packaging materials. Ricardo, Sofía, Laura, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Marce. You didn't forget my name. No, Marce. I will never forget your name. Everything that I've heard today makes us very excited. This is a big project. It's not an easy project. Not in Colombia, not in the world. We're all learning. We're all evolving, maybe, and slower than we would like to. But the reality of what you see behind is a reality. At Plastilene, we would like to be able to continue developing these projects. We would like to double this plant and triple it. I wish we could turn this into a national project. We would like to bring that into other countries. We have a responsibility in Central America, in Ecuador, now in the United States. And I think it is our duty to do that. On the other hand, plastic, I think we said that before, is a material that's here to stay. And that's why we need to continue managing, developing, and we need to continue working based on scientific information where the plastic is the best option. And if it's not, then we can see if it can be the best option, but that is our responsibility. Clearly, what we see in the oceans, we don't like that. That is something that we need to solve, that we need to dramatically stop. But it can be done, and we're going to make it. So, Laura, I don't know, maybe you have more experience. Your conclusions, I find your conclusions very important. Stefano, I join your words and your invitation. This plant with 10,000 tons a year gives us the possibility to increase about 5% of what's being transformed today in terms of plastic in the country. So it is an invitation to think that, of course, it is a wonderful action step. Yeah, we need more steps, but we as people and the various actors, we have the power in our hands. And if we classify at the source and we give that to the waste pickers and we enable that loop from the source, maybe you're going to double your plant very soon. And from CEMPRE, of course, the commitment is to accompany the companies and thank the companies such as yours and the 3 companies that are empowering the power of circular economy through CEMPRE, and invite all the companies, actors, people, governments, and public policy makers to see the extended responsibility of the producer, a wonderful opportunity to increase circularity of plastic and all materials, and to think what is that responsibility, that right, that duty that as a person I have in contributing to this common objective. That's right. I think that we all have a very big commitment and something about circular economy, but by prolonging the life of the material is that we are giving life to the planet and a productive life in economically speaking. To me as a young person, the commitment is to pass the word out, to bring the word out and give the right message and present this initiative and incentivize a change from information, which I think is the most important. I would like to thank you all. A comment, the plant of course is turned off due to safety reasons, but the plant luckily is working in 3 shifts in full capacity, not with the productivity levels that we would like, but we are in the right path. I don't know if you can show it like very quickly, and if it's possible, great. If it's not, then my invitation is to look at the video again. I understand there was a technical problem that we didn't have a sound, but I invite you to look at the whole video because you can get an idea of what our project is like for loop closing on the plant. So thank you all very much. This is very exciting. The invitation is to look at the sustainability report too. And please stay and accompany us to look at the whole video. That is very cool.
El fin de todo, el fin de las cosas, de esto y esto. Cosas rápidas, desechables y de fácil descarte. Cosas esenciales de nuestra rutina diaria sin las que difícilmente podríamos vivir. En Colombia se dispone un promedio de 32.294 toneladas al día de residuos sólidos presentados por los usuarios del servicio público de aseo. Y aproximadamente el 40% de los residuos generados están compuestos por materias con potencial de aprovechamiento. Muerto, desechado, fin. Y aquí comienza nuestra historia, porque el fin de las cosas es el comienzo de nuestra misión. Desde hace más de 30 años, en el grupo Plastilene nos hemos encargado de cambiar un proceso lineal por uno circular. Por eso existe Reciclene, la empresa a través de la cual transformamos desechos plásticos en materia prima, le damos valor al material y alargamos su vida útil. Sabemos que el plástico es valioso para nuestras vidas.
El plástico es seguro para la salud y salva vidas.
El plástico protege nuestro producto, que es nuestra razón de ser, y facilita su transporte y almacenamiento.
El plástico es resistente, duradero y no agota las reservas de petróleo.
El plástico ahorra agua, energía y emisiones de dióxido de carbono, comparado con otros materiales.
El problema es tratar el plástico como basura y no disponerlo adecuadamente para que pueda ser reciclado y continuar aprovechando todos sus beneficios. Por todo esto, en Reciclene creamos un sistema de economía circular, con el compromiso de todos los recicladores y otros actores de la cadena. Cerramos el ciclo del material para que no llegue a rellenos sanitarios ni a ecosistemas. Convertimos residuos plásticos en materia prima. ¿Cómo funciona?
Primero, los residuos plásticos generados por los usuarios y que son dispuestos adecuadamente en la bolsa plástica de aprovechables son recuperados y seleccionados por nuestros compañeros recicladores.
Segundo, este material llega a nuestra planta de recuperación post-consumo de Reciclene y por medio de un proceso de innovación sostenible lo convertimos en materia prima de altísima calidad.
Tercero, con estas materias primas fabricamos nuevos empaques, por ejemplo, termoincogibles, empaques secundarios y otros productos como estivas, cobres, sunchos, entre otros.
Cuarto, nuestros clientes acceden a productos que tienen material reciclado y así promueven la economía circular.
Quinto, los consumidores finales prefieren comprar productos empacados en plástico reciclado y después de utilizarlo disponer el empaque en la caneca de los aprovechables para ser recogidos por los recicladores de oficio.
Sexto, el material llega nuevamente a nuestra planta a través de las asociaciones de recicladores para continuar su trayecto en la economía circular.
Imagina un mundo donde el plástico, en lugar de terminar aquí o aquí, pueda reiniciar su ciclo de vida una y otra vez. Porque nuestra historia comienza al final. Una historia con un fin común. Esto es Reciclene, una empresa del Grupo Plastilene. Entra a www.grupoplastilene.com y conoce cómo hacemos realidad el discurso de la economía circular.
That's great. Very, very good. So I would like to go around the plant. So now we're going to run a tour. And if you'd like to do that also, don't worry. You can do that. But please send an email to the address that you're going to see on the screen. Thank you very much to all for being here. Grupo Plastilene for this initiative and this very cool project that I'm sure is going to change a lot of things in the country. I, as Marce, the waste speaker, congratulate you, and I thank you for this wonderful event. And now I'm going to leave you, my recycle love, kisses and hugs.